Rồi, ok rồi. Hello, Professor. I'm making a videos on my reflections in Unit 3. I believe for the first questions, it says how well you are able to apply the techniques for encouraging others to reflect when you responded to your classmates' microcultural post. I believe that I have applied effectively the techniques to motivate others to reflect when I gave my response to my classmates' microculture post. In particular, I paid full attention to read the post. And as you can see here, I'm staying in my study room, which is located in a quiet neighborhood. As I read the post, I imagine I try to put myself in their shoes to understand the situation. Here I read the post by Kyeonun, a Cambodian student, and also in my group 1. He said that they clapped the hand 3 times before starting the class to wake up some student, and to focus on the lesson. If anyone in the class is noisy, he just stare at him or her, and the student know that they have done something wrong and start focus on the lesson. I have never done it before. Here, and I also find clips on the YouTube about American teacher personalize his own way of handshaking before starting class. I also encouraged him to respond when I reflect by asking more information and providing alternatives. Here, I am questioned his own way of perceiving, like making noise. He believes that it's not something not good, but I think that making noise is actually something that I encourage my students to do, because I believe that this reflects their dynamism. Warming up activities on my reflection have to organize the class and have the student pay attention to lesson. I just not just for waking up. I often give my students some breaks up to 2 hours studying. If I see some signs of sluggishness, I allow my students to take a break earlier and encourage them to do some physical exercises. Proverb 2. How does it connect with critical thinking and active listening? I think that critical thinking, in my definition, is a process in which you perceive the world by observation, followed by asking questions to analyze the situation and get more insights into it. Here I question myself whether students making noise should be perceived as a negative sign or something that should be promoted. This question are followed by my analysis that making noise can reflect the dynamism of my students. Concerning about warming up activities, I put forward my own reflection that have to organize the class and have students pay attention to lesson, not for waking up. Okay, here in the paragraph 3, how could you apply this in your own teaching? Techniques to encourage reflective practice in others are very useful for me to apply in my own teaching. As teacher of translation, a student counselor, I have got involved in many conversations with my students. Techniques like to pay attention while listening, or to reflect before responding, and making sure that you understand the message while concerning the emotional signs are very helpful and crucial in my comprehension of classroom outcomes and in designing classroom activities. In many cases, recognizing the emotional side in face-to-face interaction, and share their point of view, knowledge, experience. Help me to gain mutual understanding and make the conversations run smoothly. For example, when my students are a little tired, I said, I understand that you are tired. Some of you are running out of energy. But I think about the stress we are going to face after graduation. Think about how to train yourself familiar with the high pressure at work. We should be well prepared. You have already done great. That keep trying. So I told my student the thing, and I see something change in their way to participate in the classroom. About paragraph 4. Before finalizing your text of recording, review the depth of reflection rubric we used last week. About this question, I think that I'm somewhere between level 5 and level 7. When learning the course, I recognize that there are some parts of my lesson, some part of my perspective should be changed. For example, observations and interpretations are different from each other. I used to think that when my students are keeping silent, I interpret this silence as a sign of boring lesson. Perhaps I would know that they are trying to focus on the lesson. They are trying to focus on reading. They're studied material, and some of them really enjoy that moment. My reflection was at level 6 when I stepped out of myself and observed my own cultural bumps from another perspective. I witnessed something changing that magically can heal my pain. You don't even know that I used to feel hurt when thinking back about that bad situation or that bad experience, but I'm now getting used to it. And rubber ball is bouncing back, and nothing broken here. Okay, thanks for listening. See you, Professor.